afternoon, maayong hapon ka natong tanan. Hello to all the viewers of CICP's GMM today. Happy International Women's Month. Amazing. It feels so great to be a woman, especially today, because I am going to be talking to a lot of empowered women this afternoon. And you know what? We all know that women have to be celebrated every day, but March has become a favorite because it is a time when we actually put women on the spotlight. And I'm so excited. For all the discussions that we'll be having this afternoon. Because for this month, the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines, or CICP Monthly GMM, is putting a spotlight on different women, breaking the biases against them using the power of social media and content creation. Welcome to our March GMM. My name is Bea Evardone. I am one of the board of directors of CICP. I am also the group chief operating officer of the Republic Group of Companies, and I am the creative strategist and production head for Bicon Infest, which is the biggest gathering of content creators and influencers in the entire Philippines. And I'm so excited to host this afternoon. More than anything that I just said to you guys, I am also a proud advocate for women. I've seen women shine. I was raised by women. I went to an all-girls school all my life. So I know the power that women hold to be able to make things happen. And so I'm so happy to be putting a spotlight on them this afternoon. And as you all know, guys, it is the International Women's Month, which means that there is an ongoing worldwide movement to actually push for the rights and to put a platform for women's voices to be heard. And across the universe, across the world, the International Women's Month theme is actually called Break the Bias. And that is what we're adapting to right now. Breaking the bias means going against the standards, the norms, and the mold that was created for women all throughout time in general. And so today we are talking to different women who have broken down the many biases that have been pushed against them and who use the power of social media and digital to be able to champion different causes that concern women, may it be body positivity, may it be your career paths, or any form of biases that they have encountered. We're going to talk about that this afternoon. So it's going to be a chikahan lang. So guys, if you guys could already see on screen right now, one of our CICP members who have actually organized an event and want to join in on the discussion, don't forget to join in on the discussion. So if you guys could already see on screen right now, one of our CICP members who have actually organized an event and want to join in on the discussion. Shout out to all our CICP members watching us today. Hello, hello. I hope that you guys are having a good time. Speaking of creating a platform to put women on the spotlight, I'd also like to say that I'm super proud of some CICP members who've actually used their platforms and their influence to push for women initiatives or women's initiatives for the month of March. In fact, I'm more than excited to show everyone a quick rundown of the women empowering activities. There you have it. So, if you guys could already see on screen right now, one of our CICP members, Apple Eslana Manansala, actually organized an event called Global Women Who Rule. So she's the ideator of the event. And what she did was she invited 22, that's right, 22 empowered women all over the world. That's right, all over the world. We had speakers from Papua New Guinea, from the US, from different parts of the Philippines, where we gathered and talked about different causes close to our hearts. And basically, the entire goal of the event is to really encourage people and women in general to believe that they can rule the world if they want to. So that is an initiative by one of our CICP members, and that is Apple. Thank you so much for putting this together. I was one of the speakers there. I'm super excited to be part of that initiative as well. That happened last Saturday. Also, last Saturday, G Spot is a publication in Cebu that talks about the everyday Bisaya woman, and they created a fashion show called G Spot Breaks the Bias. It is a fashion show that gathered 11 empowered and strong Bisaya women who talked about the different biases against them and who walked down the ramp and literally broke the biases against them. So it was a fun activity, well attended, and it was generally to really empower different Bisaya women that you too are capable of breaking your own biases. So that's that. So super, super Shout out to everyone who made this happen. Apple, the CICP team, G Spot team who made this happen, and all the empowered CICP members and directors who continue to make a difference, not just for the Women's Month, but also all throughout their lives. We are super happy to put a spotlight on them. So that's that. So going back, as I mentioned, we are very excited to actually um, provide a platform for a lot of empowered women who have actually used their voice and their platforms to champion different causes concerning women this afternoon. And I'm super excited to be talking to them because, quite honestly, some of the women, or actually all of the women that are actually going to be in the panel this afternoon, are women I already look up to, women I follow, and women I aspire to be. So this afternoon, we're gonna have parang a chikahan. We're going to talk to each other about our experiences as women, the struggles we faced, how they were able to champion it, and it's going to be a worthwhile discussion. So again, guys, please tag your friends, comment down below, put an emoji na heart dan sa baba if you guys agree with what we're saying, and of course, we're gonna try to make this as interactive as possible. So please leave comments if you have any questions. I'm going to be reading that later on. So this is the part where we are going to have our discussion, our online chikihan for this afternoon's Break the Bias, Women Breaking the Bias in the World of Content Creation discussion. So I am very excited to have with us three empowered content creators who are women who have been championing different causes in their different platforms. And let me go ahead and bring them to the call so we can finally start our discussion. So our first panelist is an empowered woman, content creator, founder of Kayu Beauty and Morena the Label. Please welcome up here on stream we have Ayn Bernos. Hi Ayn, hello.
Hi,
Good afternoon.
Bea. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Of course, what an honor to have you here. I used to watch all of your videos. I'm super excited to talk to you later on. Thanks for joining us. You look so good, girl. I love how you look. So let's do it. Next, we have an ICF PCC credentialed executive coach. She's also a creator of YouTube and podcast series Leading Great Workplaces, and of course, global leadership and team coach. And she was awarded number one Filipino content creator on LinkedIn. A true epitome of an empowered woman. Please welcome Miss Anda Goseco. Hi, Anda. Good
Hello, hi.
afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Nice. And then lastly, we have someone I've been following since 2016 probably, and I think I've told her that already, nahiya akong konti. But she is an influencer manager. She is a host of Raw and Real podcast. She's a former plus size model, body positivity advocate, and of course, a proud holistic wellness advocate. Please welcome Stacy Gutierrez. Hi, Stace.
Hi everyone! Thank
Hello.
you,
Good.
Bea. Oh my God.
Nice. What an honor to be alongside these ladies in this very powerful discussion we're going to be having this afternoon. Before we get into the details, just want to check in on how you girls are at. What are you guys up to? Maybe start with Ayin. How are you, Ayin? What's up?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Well, Women's Month has been crazy, daming ganap. I'm still trying to, get used to running a makeup business. So that's something that's on my plate right now. But yeah, very excited, woman, to be here chatting with you all.
Nice. Of course, Women's Month. I can imagine because you girls are such amazing in what you do. You're probably getting a lot of invitations to talk, to champion causes. So thank you so much for squeezing us in to your time. Next, we have Anda. Anda, how are you? You have been recently awarded as number one Filipino creator on LinkedIn. How's that like for you?
It's been good. I'm really happy with the results of that because it was a lot of hard work, And I had to really think about what to post from Monday to Friday. I'm glad that I'm able to help leaders and teams this way as a global leadership and executive coach. And recently, also for Women's Month, I just released my workshop Empower. That's for women who want to also find their own voice and be able to direct the path that they want to take for 2022. Because we came from the pandemic, and I want women to just end strong this year, not just this year, but in the years to come.
Nice, nice. And I really love that women, we know we see women pushing each other to be better. Like we are our own advocates, and you're leading that in your own platform, Anda. That's such an amazing thing. And so, guys, again, we have amazing women in our panel today. If you guys want to show them some love, go ahead and comment down below. And of course, use our hashtag CICP Rise to make this event trend, right? So Stacy is in experiencing connections problems with her connections lang right now, like ganito naman talaga pag live event. But she's gonna chime in back later, so magchika muna tayo, Ayin and Anda. So we all know that we are celebrating women right now, and there's so many things about being a woman that you can be proud of, but I just really wanted to know from your end, what makes you super proud to be a woman? What makes you wake up every day and feel great about being a woman? Maybe we can start with Ayin.
I just love the experience of being a woman and, having been brought in such an encouraging environment. Nah, I was never
Nice,
really limited by my circle
nice.
to define what it means to be a woman. So I just love being able to voice out my opinions, challenge the norm, break the bias, having a
Yes.
natin this month. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's a really empowering experience. But more than anything, I think it's also a good place to be, especially now that we have a platform. As a woman, I feel like there is also a lot of responsibility to push for change. So, yeah.
Ayun, that's such a great thing to hear from you, no? Kasi you mentioned kanina that you grew up or you've been in a very encouraging environment, and it makes you feel amazing. So it just really gives us a perspective na if we're able to provide a good environment for women to feel comfortable about themselves and to shine, then Ayin has been doing a lot of amazing things, and credits to the encouraging circle that she has. So yes, so girls, if you guys have friends who are encouraging you and pushing you, then that's amazing. That's not always the case, but thank you so much, Ayin, for sharing that. How about Anda? What makes you proud to be a woman?
Many, many things. I think for us women, there are many things that we have in common that I'm pretty proud of. I think one is relationship building. We're very good in building relationships, connecting with other people. I think, like we like being in groups and sharing things with one another. I think that's powerful. And
Yes.
another thing is our adaptability. So that's really seen also during the pandemic, although it was hard for everyone. But I think we have a strength of adaptability and the responsibility also of taking care of the people who we care for and we love. So that's our families, our friends. So we have that empathy that really stands out also. And I see that when I work with leaders and organizations, I see how women are, and that is a true power of being a woman. And I just want to say that it's a journey also, because to be able to bring out that voice and to know who you are and know your power as a woman is a journey. Because we have a lot of biases with ourselves, or we question ourselves. So being able to just slowly come out and just voice that out, and recognizing who you are as a person is where the true power really lies.
Right, right. And it's nice that you were able to point out some qualities that women possess that make them extremely strong in the workplace, wherever they go. And totoo yung sinabi mo na nurturing talaga, because ako, I personally have experiences also na some strengths that you just mentioned right now, the power of empathy, the power of being to nurture relationships and emotionally connect with the people we're with. Sometimes it's taken against us, like women are too emotional to make decisions, like they can't be an asset in the workplace. And so I love that you're changing that narrative and turning that around and making sure that it becomes a strength rather than it, or something to be proud of, rather than it is parang a liability wherever we are, right? So yun, so nice. So Now that you girls, like, you are proud and empowered women, and that's why a lot of people look up to you, and that's probably why you are also growing in your platforms. Anda is on LinkedIn, Ayin is everywhere, Instagram, TikTok. How does it feel like to be a woman content creator? When I say how does it feel like, what's the experience like as a woman content creator, creating content online, putting yourself out there, providing a platform for yourself to talk about sometimes things that not a lot of people agree with. Maybe we can start with Anna.
Yeah, it's very empowering, and you know, as I mentioned earlier, it is a journey because to be able to put yourself out there means that you're sharing your strengths, but you're also being vulnerable as well because you're out there in social
Mhm.
media. And I think
Yes,
it's
yes.
important also for people to see who you really are, because if you just show a certain part, and then that means people can't relate to you also. So it was a journey for me as well because I had to be able
Mhm.
to show both sides. I had to show the part where the things that I'm good at, but the things that I also struggle with. And I think that's where people, especially women, can relate
Nice.
to what we're going through if we share our own personal stories, and people can just get inspired by the things they learn from you or from each other, because as you share in social media, people comment, people share their own stories as well, and then it builds, it grows, and people learn from those, not just from me, but from the stories that people share in the comments with one another.
Yeah, and it's nice that you say it's empowering because you're not just able to show what you're good at, but also the things that you want to improve on. Not because you want to be vulnerable or you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable, but at the end of the day, the best part is you see people relating to you, which makes your story so real and which makes your platform even more powerful, right? How about the Yin? As a content creator, you've been championing different causes, and I love how you push forward the Morena beauty and all those beauty standards that we were thought to believe na parang maganda ka lang pag ganito ka. But you've clearly broken a lot of those rules. How does it feel like to have a platform as a content creator to be able to do that?
It's really empowering personally for me because I've always wanted representation. I've always been tuned in to mainstream media, and I've always craved to see somebody who looked like me. But being able to, I guess, do that for my younger self is very fulfilling. However, on the same, at the same time, it's also difficult because as women there is a focus on our looks, and I felt that very very evidently when I joined Miss Universe Philippines. So before
Yes.
I was put on the spotlight, under the spotlight of Miss Universe Philippines, I was an educator on TikTok. Not a lot of people really commented on my looks or anything like that. But
Mhm.
since I became, that kind of blew up my social media accounts and furthered my following. However, it also put me under the microscope. So all of a sudden, I was, a lot of my quote unquote flaws were being pointed out, such as like my braso is too big, I'm too short, I'm too this, too that, I look very common. So parang it's a difficult place to be in, and I think it's also a good place to be in. So it's really how you take it. I've personally needed to take months to learn how to manage the transition, especially
Yeah.
growing a following after the pageant. I really want to focus on the impact that this could create. Pero syempre, at the
Right.
same time, I'm also vulnerable, and I am also like trying to learn how to handle this as I go.
Right. And I love that we're all mentioning our own personal vulnerabilities right now. And welcome back, Stacy.
Yes,
Hello.
I'm back. Oh my gosh, sorry about that.
Ayun, girl. We're talking about what makes us proud to be a woman, and what's the feeling like creating content online. And Ayin and Anda were talking about being able to have a platform, or having platform allowed them to connect with so many people that could relate to them, but at the same time, it also actually allowed them to be vulnerable and to put themselves in a microscope. Na parang a lot of them are saying things about them, and things that, especially Ayin was saying, physical aspects of what they're doing were put on the spotlight or the microscope. Stacey,
Right.
you've been doing this, creating content for a long time now, and I wanted to know, how did it feel like? I say you guys are loud and proud body positivity advocates. You used to be a plus size model, and communicating that using that platform early on, where I don't think, I'm not sure if at that time we were as empowered as we are now, but how was it like for you creating these kinds of content?
It's very daunting at first, but kasi I think like there are so many things that are not being tackled, especially like women's issues, our concerns, what we go through. And it's very, very important. Parang it really stuck with me na, you know what, if you can't find the role models that you needed, be that girl, be that woman to other girls. So that
That's
just really
right.
stuck with me. Like me and my twin sister, Dana, she's also a content creator. And, we used to do um, Plump.ph, which was a plus size positivity empowerment website. And we just really wanted to talk about women's bodies. Parang it's always either go on a diet or be this shape or change how you look all the time. And it's just, parang we're so sick of it. We're just, yun. Parang we need a healthier conversation about this pressing topic because we all, ang daming issues ng women when it comes to their bodies and it's not being addressed.
Right.
So yeah, I
Right.
mean, it really came from, I don't know, just wanting to share our experiences and wanting to be that voice that other girls can relate to.
Right. And I think, Ayn was mentioning that kanina kasi she was looking for herself in a lot of the mainstream media, and she
Right.
wasn't able to find herself. And it's nice what you said, na if you couldn't find your own personal role model, why not be one, right? So, Ayn and Stacey, you've been talking about parang the biases against body types that were imposed about you. How about Anda? What kind of vulnerabilities have you discussed? Kasi Anda is quite different because she's on LinkedIn, and we all
Mhm.
know that LinkedIn is a space for to advance in your profession, to create professional networks. I'm just wondering and curious, as a woman, have you encountered and experienced vulnerability or biases thrown against you for the content that you create?
Um, Not really in the content that I create, but let's say if I am coaching people face to face and I'm assigned to combination of men and women, right? So usually, if they see me, I look young, and I coach a lot of people who are older, and I'm a woman also. And if you're dealing with really powerful men, also that can be that they're you see that they have this question mark in their head. Can you really help me? Can you really coach me? So I think to be able to break through that, you have to be able to know what you can offer. You have to be able to be clear with your identity, who you are, and that's how you just break that. Because if you are going to let yourself become overcome with all of those questions, you question yourself or you're not sure, that's going to come out. And I think it's really coming from what has been shared today so far now, is really understanding where you're coming from, what your purpose is, why you're doing this, and not being able and being able to say the hard truths also. So if you look at my content on LinkedIn, I talk a lot about the hard truths that you have to face, because all of us
Yeah.
have that. And I think that's a big block to becoming who we really are, because society expects us to be like this, or we need to be like this and like that. So it's about being true to yourself and being comfortable in your own skin. I think that's what's important. And when you're able to do that, then you're able to positively influence other people to become like that also. But it's not, like I said, it's not easy because of the biases we have in ourselves, the expectations and everything. So to break that, again, it's going back to who you really are as a person and peeling
Yeah.
those layers, right? Yeah.
Right.
So you came
Right.
from a
And you
position
feel
of
it.
strength.
Right. And you feel it more now because of social media. Comments are can be seen. Dati lang, if it's someone that, I mean, I'm not saying that these question marks on their heads, the comments that they actually have for you when they verbally say it, I'm not saying that that doesn't hurt because it's just verbal. But right now, you actually have parang a tangible, parang comment or parang comment against you that a lot of people can see. And I'm just wondering, what was the worst bias or comment that you've heard? Either on social media, either on on a training that you went through. How did you feel when you heard that? And what did you do when you actually heard that comment? Maybe we can start with Stacy.
Right. So, now that I lost weight, a lot of people would say, "Oh, akala ko ba you're for body positivity? Like, it's exclusive to just larger bodies or bodies that are not really the norm as per society
Mhm.
standards, right?" Like,
Mhm.
but this journey, me losing weight, was really a
Mhm.
journey of healing myself, finding myself, and also knowing what
Right,
works for my body, like nutritionally speaking, like scientifically speaking, right? So,
right, right,
my pursuit was really feeling better and maximizing the potential of my body in terms of performance, in terms of mental
right,
clarity, in terms of health, like
right,
real health, right? But then, other people would throw that at me na, oh, hindi ka na plump. So, parang you're not a body positive advocate anymore and stuff like that.
right.
And I really have to explain and say, hey, that's not the point of plump. The point of plump was to really to celebrate your body, accept it for where it is currently. And at the same
Uh-huh.
time, you can strive to improve on your health and your fitness and your wellness. Like those two are
Right.
not mutually exclusive. You
Listen,
can just,
correct.
diba? You can accept something, be content where it is, celebrate it, love it, nourish it and all. While at the same time, wanting to push it to drive it to where it can be better, right?
Right.
So yung mga ganyang comments, parang, madalas yon lately, recently.
Uh-huh.
But syempre, in the past, the comments were always about, since we were plus size, mocking us, telling us na what we're doing is very detrimental and, harmful. But, you can't really take care of something you hate. So I think
Right.
that's really step one. So
Right.
yeah,
And that's so beautiful because you have actually gone through parang the opposite ends of parang the standards that
right,
if you try to take care of your body in a different way, they will say something, or if you don't, they will say something. So
right.
damn if you do, damn if you don't, parang at the end of the day may masasabi pa rin talaga sila
Correct.
para sa tungkol sa right? And I'm
Yeah.
happy that you're continuing to power through it. What about Ayin? The worst bias or worst comment that you've heard against you?
I can really relate to Stacy's answer kasi for me, medyo sanay na ako sa mga, pangit mo, blah, blah, blah. Those attacks are like
Sino
super
nagsabi nun?
marami
Oo nga.
in the life. Pero when people question your integrity,
Mhm.
that really gets to me some days. Because for me, as a content creator, especially, I'm very, very, I try to be as purposeful as I can when I create content, especially about colorism. If I speak on a certain issue, it's because I believe that. But when people say na parang, sinasabi mo lang yan because you're joining the bandwagon, or like, attention lang yan. Oh, I really, really hate that. That really annoys me because I feel like there's a bias na leaning towards mistrust if it's
Yeah,
a woman like who's vocal about this, that, ganyan, ganyan. Parang laging finding a way, finding a loophole to make somebody the villain. Like, can't it
right,
be just because of my individuality? Ganyan. Like, can't I be this person? So ayun,
right.
that really enrages me. Pero like I try to handle it as well as I can. I try to make it an educational experience for me
Right.
and for my viewers as well. Like if people have this culture of mistrust about the things that I speak about, then I think it's because maybe they haven't heard enough of it yet. So maybe the conversation hasn't been normalized yet.
Hasn't.
So
Exactly.
that's why I'll just keep talking and I'll keep trying to create better and hopefully get to a point where the message is a lot more clear.
Yes. And it's not like it's easy to create content about these things, right? Because it's number one, you're putting yourself out there, you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Number two, shooting yourself, creating content is not something that can easily be done in one, two, three. And for you choosing to do that for your followers and content creators to inspire them is actually additional work for you to do. But then you continue to do it because you know that it's something that needs to be heard right now. But at the end of the day, may masasabi pa din sila. How about Anda? Kasi you're multi-awarded, you're highly respected, and you're in a network where, or in a platform where we're expected to be professional, or when you do your trainings, we're all expected to be, professional when we do things. I'm
Mhm.
curious, have people actually said anything bad about you, or what are the biases that you heard?
Well, there's a common line that people say. So because, like you said, like I have this image and all that. So, and I am a coach. So people say that, dapat alam mo yan coach ka. Or dapat ganito ka. So you should be able to know that. Why don't you know that? Or why aren't you like that? So of course, when you hear that, you're just taken aback, and you just have to compose yourself and say, and and really ask yourself, is that the truth? Because if you let that frazzle you, or if you kind of like make that affect you also, that's going to affect everything else. So like
Right.
I've learned also to just listen to it, be distant from it, and just
Yeah.
hear what they're saying. But I always ask myself, is that the truth? What they're saying, does it have meat in
Right.
it? Does it make sense? And when
Right.
when my answers are no, no, no to all of that, then why should I believe it in it? And why should I even let it affect me? So, but
Right.
like in the beginning, it does kind of affect you when they ask you that, and it's like a challenge to you, or it's like a question to who you are. So I don't actually like that line when people do that, because as a coach or whoever role you play, we are human beings. We make mistakes. We're not perfect, and that's also
Yeah.
all part of who you are. And I think that society sometimes has a certain expectation, or wants you to be perfect, but in
Yes,
the
especially when
reality
you're
is, all of us are not perfect. All of us have flaws. All of us are different, and it's those differences and those areas that we need to work on that make us human, and that make us that's where our strength comes from. And then I think it's really understanding that people are different, and it's okay. And then people have their own strengths, and just
right.
recognizing that. Yeah.
Right. And before I jump to another question, like Anda, I'm curious lang na parang, they tell you na dapat alam mo kasi coach ka. Tapos pag
Hmm.
alam mo naman, sometimes will people, edi ikaw na may alam. Have you ever tried that? Ikaw na
Um,
magaling.
that part, no naman. It's more of the other. It's more of the other one. I'm yet to hear that, but the other one is really
Hopefully,
common. Coach ka, dapat alam mo yan. Hindi don't you know to solve that? I don't know everything. And so I think
right.
I was gonna add, like, I think it's important also to just even admit it and say, like, I don't know. I really don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
being
Oo nga.
it's really all about being true to yourself.
That's right. So yeah, we were having a really good discussion this afternoon. I'm so happy to see a lot of our viewers watching us and interacting with us. So please, if you have any questions, may mga comments kayo, mapa-shoutout kayo, would be happy to do so. But let me quickly just acknowledge the people watching us today. We have Fe Matuliano Lustanias, Mark De Rosario, hello Pares, watching us today also. Stephen Kobe Palomo, hello Kobe. Mitch De Guzman, Carla Fernando, Kath Todok, RV Villacin, Maya Arong, Blogapalooza. Hi, Blogapalooza is watching us as well. PV Belly, Nareen, Janelle Janicio, Rico Dormido, Calanog, Jean Dulay, Cassandra I. Santiago, and Ati I, Maria Irene Acerios. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And I'm enjoying the discussions we're having so far. And now we've talked about, the worst things that you've heard as a content creator and someone who has a platform online. Question is, what are you doing to address these concerns? Kasi kayo, you experience that, and people say those nasty things about you, the hurtful things about you, and of course, a lot of people are experiencing it every day. So you guys continue to use your platforms to actually be the voice of everybody else. So what are some ways that you have used your platform to go against those biases that have been thrown at you? How are you using your platform right now, or how have you used your platform in the past to show others that yes, I'm hearing all these biases, you probably have related to it, but I will continue to use my platform like this? Maybe Ayin?
I'm pretty vocal about a lot of things in
Yes.
general, and that has gotten me in some pretty tough situations. As in, like, oh my gosh, my comment section sometimes can just be, a really difficult place to be. But
Yes.
at the same time, I have learned through the years na the reactions of people are not really mine. I don't own those reactions, and
Right. Right.
just not something that I can control. But what I try to remind myself na to this day, I still have to remind myself now I need to focus on what's going to create the most impact. You know, like if I were to create content, spend my energy doing something, filming something, it needs to be a video or a piece of writing that will actually create the results that I'm looking for. And if it means, isang tao lang, dalawang tao lang makakaintindi fully, or there's just a limited group of people na talagang maa-affect nun positively, then so be it. I try to, be as understandable as I can. As in, I really altered the way that I create content. Na
Mm.
before medyo ano pa ako eh. I remember in my younger years, I was like palaban, ganyan. People would I would really argue. But then now am also unlearning that part of me na I want, okay, I want to pause, I want to ask myself, okay, what is the most educational way to go about it? What is the way na I can create positive impact instead of alienate people? Because before I thought, the important thing was being right. And parang minsan, pag alam ko sa sarili ko na tama ako, ipupush ko talaga, tama ako eh. So, I should do that. Talagang ilalaban ko yun. But then, I also had to do a little reflection na parang, okay, do I want to be right or do I want to have a conversation with people? And I realized na to have a conversation with people, to have people actually listen to what I have to say, I need to fix my approach rin. So ngayon, I'm just, I'm still creating content all the time. But right now, I am much less reactive and more proactive about what I put out. So yes, there are still, trends here and there. Pagka merong mga bubbling issues, I will still speak on them. Pero right now, I'm more focused on what I have to offer versus what I have to counteract, if that makes sense.
Right. And I love when you mentioned that while you are learning a lot of things, you also had to unlearn a lot of things. And that's you've been taking notes of the way you've been doing things. And at the end of the day, it's really the conversations you want to have and the impact you want to have is what's important to you. And I think that makes you a really smart content creator. When you create content talaga, it's not just put it yourself out there and you can stop thinking about it. But if you really want to create impact, you want to be intentional. You want to know if you're really creating the change that you want. So that's a really good perspective on that. And I think Anda mentioned it a while back kanina na all of this is a journey talaga. How about you, Anda? How's the journey been like countering or representing women in the space that you're active at?
Yeah, I think it's important. Coming from what Ayin was sharing, also, it's about being really purposeful. Like, what is the purpose of why I'm doing this anyway? And sometimes when life gets in the way, we lose track of that, or sometimes we get distracted, or if like
Yes.
there's someone who comments something, then it's just lose focus. So I think it's going
Yes.
back. Why am I doing this? What's a purpose and impact? Actually, are two important things. What is things? So first is what's the purpose? Or why am I doing this? What do I want to happen in the next 5 to 10 years? Who am I becoming when I do this? What's important for me? And it's really going back to also what impact do I want to create? And that's a different answer for different people, right? So I think it's always,
Yes.
again, I go back to staying true to, not copying anyone, because we are unique in our own ways, or we may be talking about similar things, but there's still something unique about ourselves. So putting our strengths
Mhm.
together, our values, our purpose, our impact, and putting that all together makes us unique. And this can be really like I call it like a North Star that can guide us. And we have to be very clear on what that
Yes.
is. And sometimes it can change now. Like let's say in the next 2 years, you become different because of experiences. It changes. And you become
Yeah.
you're the same person as well, but being aware of that also, and looking at, okay, where
Yes.
am I now? Do I need to change some things, or do I need to change my messaging, and evolving also with a message, or the message that's coming up, because you're growing as a person also. So that's
Right. Right.
so the awareness of that is, I think, is very important.
At the end of the day, why are you doing what you're doing, diba? Because you're, again, creating content is not easy. And being able to put yourself out there and be vulnerable in front of everybody else is not someone that anyone can just do. So determining your purpose, your North Star, will definitely really parang tell you if what you're doing is right or wrong.
Yeah,
And
and there are many distractions
going.
because so you have to be
Yes,
able to be aware of the distractions that get you off course. And nawawala
that's
na yung
right.
purpose. So it's always going back to what's my purpose? Why am I doing this?
Yes. Ayun. And then this is Stacy naman. I know you guys had a website, or you have a website, you have a podcast, you're active on Instagram. You basically are active in different platforms, continuing to champion body positivity, self love. Um, how are you doing all of this? What still pushes you to keep doing this?
I think, it's also just not, I think for a time I had a hard time letting go of that plump identity when I was losing weight and, transitioning into this different kind of lifestyle. And I was so depressed na parang I felt like I lost my purpose. I lost, a core part of me because that's what made our mark in the industry. Like these twins are the first plus size, parang body positivity
How
bloggers
was
in
your
the
branding?
Philippines. Like, yeah.
Mm.
But then I also had to allow myself to evolve. Parang a huge
Oh,
chunk of that is allowing myself to evolve. Like I really relate with Ayn and Anda na parang, sometimes you get distracted and then sometimes you have to reassess the way you're reacting to so many people when people are coming at you, throwing you all these things, right?
mm-mm.
So yun, so just really allowing myself to evolve and embracing that. Na parang I think before I love certainty. Parang de kailangan sure yan lahat, everything's planned out, this
Oo.
is how it's gonna
Oo.
go. But as
Yeah.
I mature, I realize that life doesn't work that way, and you just really have to learn how to flow. Like whatever it throws at you, learn to adapt, learn to also question your beliefs, question your thoughts, because that's how we grow. And we can't
Mhm.
just hold on to one thing because it gives us our identity. Parang really a big lesson in my 30s is learning to let go of so many things, like what Aing said, na unlearning nga, diba?
Mhm. So I guess what I'm getting from the conversation I'm having with the three of you is like, at the end of the day, people change, we
Yeah.
change, and we evolve, and we just have to accept that. And with the change comes self awareness talaga. So you have to be self aware of when you are changing, and every time when you're changing, you mentioned Stacy get depressed. Ayin mentioned that she had to unlearn so many things, and Anda said that there will be so many distractions. But at the end of the day, why are you doing this? Your purpose still becomes your North Star, and it actually gets you back on track.
Yes.
So, very inspiring. I am seeing comments right here telling us change is part of growing. May nagsasabi na parang smart shaming, yeah, that's a Filipino trait. I think kanina when we were talking about it. Ayun, so we have a lot of comments here. Change is part of growing. We have Jean Galino watching us. We have Raymond Mapalad and Riz Zanet Liwanag watching us. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And right now, guys, the social media and different digital platforms has actually allowed us to have a platform to be out there. And I'm seeing a lot of little girls. Even I was talking to my cousin like a few weeks back. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an influencer. I want to be a TikToker. I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm not gonna fault them for that because it's a legitimate, it's an important parang position to be in. And then so I'm seeing a lot of girls wanting to be in the content creation space as women who have been in this space for a while and who have experienced many ups and downs in the world of content creation. What would be your advice to little girls who are wanting to enter this new world of social media? Maybe Anda?
Yeah. Well, I'd probably tell them to go back. So we're talking about purpose, right? So and impact. So it's all, if you think about how you want to help other people, it becomes less selfish. Because if
Mhm.
you focus on me, although it's things that are important for you, you have to be able to think about how can I really help others with what I'm creating, and what is like what is the kind of impact that I want to share with others. So it's
Yes.
important to go back to that, and I think really recognizing what their strengths are, because
Uh-huh.
it's harder to copy other people, right? It gets tiring at a certain point. So I tell those little girls to also just focus on who you are, love what you're doing, and focus on your strengths as a person and as an individual. And I think you're gonna really enjoy the work that you do. So that's really what we do, right? We try to look for work that really we get excited with, that it doesn't feel like work at all. And to be able to do that, it's going back to who you are as a person, your identity and your strengths, and the impact that you want to create, which is helping other people also.
Amazing. That
Bea, we lost.
understanding your audience at the end of the day and enjoying what you are. Am I back? Am I back? This is the beauty of digital events, nawawala tapos babalik naman. Hello, am
Yeah,
I here?
we're back.
Am I back? Yes, I'm back. So yun, amazing. So don't worry. And I heard your message, Anda. I love it. And how about si Ayin? Young girls wanting to be on social media right now. I want to be a content creator. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an influencer. What do you want to tell them?
I would probably tell them that to embrace being a work in progress, because a lot of people, want to get on social media and come out as perfection. Alam mo yun, like there's a
Right.
perfect image na final na yan na yung branding ko, yan ako. Kaya super nakarelate ako kay Stacy kanina when she was explaining yun nga, she was evolving as a person, and that was being like parang her fault for evolving. The same thing
Mm-hmm.
was said about me when I was championing, like I was the outsider sa pageant industry, and then all of a sudden
Yes.
I started evolving, natuto ako mag-makeup, pumayat ako kasi nag-exercise ako, which is the consequence of exercising. Also, I was so stressed, ganyan. So parang, embrace being a work in progress kasi I think that's the best way to be yourself, be your authentic self online. Kasi like we will continue to learn things, unlearn things, and it's hard when you box yourself, especially once andyan ka na. Like, oh, I'm a beauty content creator. That's all I'm ever gonna be. It's hard to limit yourself like that. So ako sometimes it's hard to explain, like parang yeah, I talk about self-development, but also I Morena beauty, but also I teach English. It's weird, it's hard, it's a work in progress, pero embrace that journey. Kasi as long as you are evolving as a person, you're also evolving as a content creator. So if you want to get to this space, create content. I hope that you can embrace yourself fully and your growth as well.
I am taking notes. Like I am gonna tell my cousin just that when you what you guys just mentioned right now. Talagang when you it's true no na parang we're super into branding. Ganito ka kasi you're a plus size model. You're the girl who spoke English. You are a coach.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that just because that's who you are right now, that's not who you're going to be forever, right? Let's allow ourselves to evolve and to change. Stacey, you've been doing this for a while. Young girls wanting to be part of the social media world. Any tips for them or messages for them?
I think it's really just to stay true and be authentic. Parang with the influx of content creators, everyone's a copy of a copy, and it's sad because parang you can thrive and you can just be yourself. Parang don't focus on the numbers too. Parang if you keep chasing followers, if you keep chasing clout, you're gonna lose your identity, and that's gonna suck so bad. Like I've experienced that, like just zoning in on my other batchmates in the blogging world. They've advanced, they're this and that, and me, I'm still here. But I don't care about that anymore. Parang my focus is really just staying true, honoring who I am, being true to my followers. I don't care if it's just by the 10,000s. I mean, we have a deep connection. Like they tell me their problems. Like it's such an honor. And now I'm just really not caught up in the numbers. I'm not caught up in riding on every trend. Para I'm just out here doing my own thing. If people notice, okay. If they get inspired, great. If not, okay lang. I'm doing this for me. I'm happy where I am. So yun talaga. Stay authentic, and not everything has to be posted online. So, may mga nakikita ako lately na mga naloloka ako sa mga younger generation na mga TikToks. I was like, oh my gosh, like some stuff shouldn't be published.
Right. So ayun, stay authentic and be yourself. That's so easy to say, but sometimes talagang mahirap siya gawin, especially when you're putting yourself out there. So to all the young girls watching who want to be a YouTuber someday, don't forget that you are a work in progress. Stay true to your truth and your purpose, and of course, please do not ever try to be someone else. Stay authentic and enjoy what you do. And this is not part of the guide questions I sent you guys, but I think it would be an amazing last question for this discussion that I'm personally really enjoying. We talked about your vulnerabilities. We've talked about the worst things you've heard. I just really want to know what are the best things to encourage those who are creating content, women creating content online na nahihirapan kasi it's not easy. We're often put in molds, we're often judged, and you've experienced it. But of course, it also has its good side, right? What's the best thing you've heard about what you do, and how did it encourage you to keep moving forward? So let's talk about that naman. Hindi na yung mga hugots din. Maybe we can start with Anda.
Well, for me, because of the, I think, content that I put out there, it's helping a lot of leaders. And that's where I get more one to one conversations of people approaching me, asking me how I can help them. And I think that's where I enjoy the work the most when I see that it's creating an impact and the transformation is happening. And yeah, and I love those conversations. So I think the great thing about being that content creator, like a strong one, is to be able to influence and impact a lot of people. And that's again, it's connected to what kind of impact and what kind of purpose you want to create. So I enjoy that. I enjoy the interaction. I
Yes.
enjoy even researching about the things that I'm going to put out there because I always try to think of how will it help the people who are reading my content.
Nice. How about Stacy?
Um, Sorry, what's the question again?
What's the
The good
most
stuff.
powerful or encouraging, the best thing you've heard that allow you to keep pushing forward in this world of content creation as a woman?
Right. So, it's getting feedback from my followers na, so right now I'm very vocal about nutrition and diet and just really the science behind it, right? And so I'm currently on the carnivore diet and I've been doing it. I've been showing people I'm just thriving off of meat, butter, and eggs. That's all I eat. And I feel great, and I'm just showing everyone like this is the path I've chosen and because I feel great on it, right? And so people are like, hey, I quit sugar and I feel like my quality of sleep has improved, stuff like that. Just hearing about their quality of life get better by just doing minor changes in their diet. Like they don't have to go intense like carnivore, like what I'm doing, but if konting cut lang ng sugar, konting cut lang ng carbs, mga ganyan. So I'm very, very happy just seeing my followers thrive also. And I like it when they also get encouraged with the workouts I do because the workouts I do are very tita like Zumba. It's not like
Yes.
pa-sporty hardcore. Mine's like
Yes.
super
Which I
kabebe
love.
moves,
Thanks
ganyan.
for
But I like
validating
it. Yeah, but I love it. So, and then I just encourage people that, you have to do something you like so you can stick with it. And so it's
Yes.
just sustainable, right? So yun, so parang before I would be so ashamed of my Zumba videos because I'm not a dancer naman. I just do it to sweat. But now I'm just like, wapa kels, I'll just do my Zumba and people are like, oh, I love this video and, stuff like that. So yun lang, parang just encouraging people to, have a healthier lifestyle, no matter how that may look for them.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the impact that you guys actually really create on your followers. Simple messages like, I've learned from you, you've influenced me, I have a better life because of you, truly makes it all worthwhile, right? How about Ayn? Ayn.
Some of my followers are actually here, so I'm not seeing like the live list, but I see some of them here, and they're present in literally everything that I do online.
Nice.
Yes.
There's Cassandra, Maya, Nereen, si Mix is here, Rizanette is here, and these are people that I constantly like see. So for me talaga, and I hear this from them too. So when my followers or like my viewers tell me that kasi usually ang followers ko in their early 20s or mga teenagers. When I hear from them na you're the kind of woman that I want to be when I grow up. That is the biggest compliment ever, and I hope I don't disappoint them. I always keep in mind kasi na, I had this ideal version of adult me, and I'm always working towards that. So to be that adult role model for some people is just the biggest honor, and I'm really really grateful that people, especially young women, see value in what I do, and like sharing my vulnerabilities, talking
Right,
about not
right.
even like all the good stuff, because it's really not all, it's not all rainbows and butterflies and glamour for what I do. But buti nakikita nila that it's worth watching. So I'm really grateful na some people see me as a role model, because personally that's what I wanted also when I was growing up. I found it in another person. I found it in Bianca Gonzalez, who now is a friend of mine. It's parang it kind of feels like full
Nice.
circle. Parang full circle siya for
Yes.
me na I was always inspired by women, and for me to be doing the same for the next generation, biggest compliment ever.
Nice. And I think that's an accomplishment and a fulfillment that content creators, especially the women who inspire others, could have. Being able to, inspire, encourage, and have someone tell you that I want to be like you when I grow up. So that is amazing. And I think that was such a good end to our discussion this afternoon. We talked about our vulnerabilities, our purpose, our the worst things we've heard, and ending it with the best things we've heard actually makes I hopefully those who are watching us today get encouraged to actually, because you don't have to have lots of followers to have influence on social media. You can, someone looks up to you, you just don't know it yet. So to those mga fans ni Ayin who are watching us right now, friends and everyone else watching us right now, you have influence. At the end of the day, use it well, and we've learned so much from these women who actually use theirs right. So thank you so much, Ayin, Anda, and Stacy, for joining us this afternoon. Happy International Women's Month. Quickly lang, where can they follow and find you? Maybe you can let them know how they can connect with you, Anda.
Yeah, so if you want to send me a message, I love answering questions and getting messages. It's at Coach Anda Goseco at gmail.com. So Coach Anda Goseco at gmail.com. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Anda Goseco. I have my own Spotify podcast, Leading Great Workplaces. You can look that up in Spotify and you'll find me. If you want to look at my website, it's www.coachanda.com.
Nice. How about Ayin?
Ako guys, you can find me at Ayn Bernos. That's AYNBRNOS. I also host a podcast. Ang mga podcasters tayo dito.
Oh my.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It's called Cam Confidence Radio, where I co-host it with a fellow entrepreneur, Miss Riza Lana Sebastian, and we talk about being a work in progress in the business world, pero more like small business world, mga from the solo entrepreneur journey, etc. Ganyan. And of course, also promote ko na rin, Kayi Beauty and Morena the Label are my business babies. It's a makeup brand and a clothing line. So if you could find us there, that would be amazing. Thank you again for having us.
Of course. And lastly, Stacy.
Yes, so please check out me and my twin sisters podcast. It's called Raw and Real. It's on Spotify and Anchor. And you can also find me on Instagram at Anastasia. That's Anastazcia.
Ayun. That wraps our discussion this afternoon. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Again, we have Ayin Bernos, Anda Goseco, and Stacy Gutierrez. That was such an inspiring and empowering discussion. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies, and I hope to get to sit down with you in the future because I want to be inspired more by the three of you. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us.
Leah. Thanks,
Thank
girls.
You. Thank you.
you. Ayun, that was such a fun and insightful and very inspiring panel discussion this afternoon. And I've pretty much learned so many things. At the end of the day talaga, guys, number one, you are a work in progress. No matter what you do, you are allowed to change and evolve. Number two, look for your purpose. Like as someone creating content online, and especially if you're a woman, you get distracted, you get to be put on molds. Look for your purpose and you will definitely move forward. Number three, enjoy what you do, and allow yourself to really embrace what you are doing, even the bad things, the downsides of what you're doing. So I learned so many things this afternoon, and I hope to the little girls that are watching us today, the young girls watching us today, that you have been inspired by the power women that I just recently talked to in this afternoon's fireside chat. Before we end our GMM, I would just like to say a few updates for CICP to all our valued members. Please check out our Viber group community. We're currently forming our projects committees for this year. Please be part of at least one committee, and plug ko na lang din, you join the marketing and communications committee because I'm part of that committee. It's the best committee ever. I'm just kidding. But please check Viber and you will see what roles that you could fill in. And to those who have not joined CICP yet, please visit our website, www.cicp.com.ph, because we have brands, creators, influencers who are part of the organization striving to actually make content creation and influencer marketing a great industry in the Philippines. We also have our CICP Legal Committee, or the CLG, available to take questions and consultations from our members via our website, FB Close Group, and Viber community page. Should there be anything that our members want to consult about, just feel free, message us. We have our lawyers who will be more than happy to assist you in legal matters. Of course, do check us out on YouTube. Our official YouTube channel is up. Subscribe to our videos because our monthly GMMs and our events are actually uploaded there. And lastly, to all our members, we will have our first CICP Town Hall next month. Please stay tuned for announcement, and I hope to see you all there. So guys, CICP has a lot of things in store for all of you, and we're so excited to have been doing all of this for the last 2 years already. CICP has been there for you. So go ahead and follow us on our socials to know more about the things that we do. That's it for our March General Membership Meeting. To all our viewers, I hope you guys were so inspired by the women, because I am follow them on their social media accounts. I'm so honored to be a part of that discussion with Ayn Bernos, Anda Goseco, and Stacy Gutierrez. Ayun. So guys, don't forget, you have the power of influence within you. It doesn't have to be that you have a lot of followers. At the end of the day, what you say online would be having an impact on another person. So go ahead and make sure that you use your influence well. This has been Bea Evardone saying goodbye, amping mga bye, and happy International Women's Month. Bye!